Hey guys, Ben here. Welcome back to another video, or to another live stream, I mean. We are back with our second week of live streams. I'm very excited to be here today to talk to you guys whilst being attacked by my cat, who we introduced to you in the last stream. I'm sure she's going to pop up. She has been jumping on my chair and everything. That's why I had to switch over to a different chair so she can't jump on it. But yeah, so welcome guys. I'm excited that you guys are here. Obviously, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Well, actually, not too much, but like some big stuff to talk about. There's not been like a huge quantity of news, but there's been news that has been pretty big. That's what I mean by it. So I see a few people already joining in the chat. We've got Boykin, welcome. We've got Nathan, a member of the channel and a legend himself, who is here. Also, we have Tina. Shout out Tina. Thanks for joining. Oh my God, it's Flashverse. Flashverse has joined us. Well, welcome to the live stream, Flashverse. Good to see you here. And just as a reminder for everyone, if you want to send in super chats to support the channel and be featured throughout the live stream, please be sure to do that as we go along. Obviously, you can send in any question that you like, whether it's to do with our topic or not. It's up to you guys. But yeah, we're going to be going through, I think I have about 3 topics or so, and we're going to be obviously just reacting to what you guys are saying in the chat. So if you have anything interesting, like I said, send it in via super chat if it's a priority and you want support. But if not, you can just send in questions in the chat, stuff you want me to answer, and I'll be sure to answer it throughout the live stream because it's just me today. So it's just going to be lots of interaction between me and you guys. So yeah, okay, let's go ahead and actually get into this. So I'm going to just pop up my notes and let's talk about this. So basically, the biggest news this week was that the Writers Guild, the strike, is finally over. Now, why is this a big thing to do with the Arrowverse, to do with DCTV, to do with Superman Lois specifically? Well, it's huge because Superman Lois, they can start season 4 now. They can go back to the writer's room in the next, I don't know, week or so. Like, we don't know how fast they're going to get back, but they can legally start working on the new season, writing it, getting it fully written out, those first or potentially final 10 episodes of the show. We'll see. But yeah, we don't know about the actor strike. We're going to talk about that very soon. So we're going to talk about that. Jazzy, Bitsy, yeah, we'll try and get into all of that in a bit. But right now, yeah, we're not sure. Andy is here. Welcome to the live stream, Andy. Good to have you back. Yeah, we are live streaming every week once again. Live stream last week, and this is the second one. Just been a busy summer, but yeah, welcome, Andy. If you're interested in joining, Andy, I'll be sure to send you a link. Of course, you can join if you want. But yeah, so we're going to talk about the Writers Guild and the strike being over. Like, it's a big deal, and I think, you know, this was something that inevitably had to happen. Like, okay, Andy's going to join, so I'll send him a link. I feel like, you know, eventually the studios, and there was this big report that Warner Brothers lost 500 million over the course of the strikes, and I was like, okay. As soon as I saw that report and it was made public, and like the studios had been trying to, like, you know, kind of dull down how big their losses were, I realized, and I said to myself, like, they're going to want to solve this ASAP. And if someone as big as Warner Brothers is going to want to solve the writer's strike first, because obviously they need to get projects in pre-production, and then they will deal with the actor strike after, obviously, because that's the way that it kind of came into existence, you know, doing the writer's strike started first in May, and then the actors joined in July. So it just makes sense that they kind of went writers first. Okay, now we're going to go talk with the actors after this. So yeah, it just kind of, I had this feeling after that article that, okay, they're going to actually try and do this, and with Warner Bros. Backing, because they've lost a heck of a lot of money, like way more than what they would have actually had to pay if they basically, you know, just paid them what they were asking. So sorry if I'm getting sidetracked. I'm just reading through the chat and trying to get caught up. But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on. And I just sent the link to Andy. So Andy, feel free to join. We'll talk about this with the writer's strike being over. That's obviously something that Andy's going to have some opinions on, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, we also are going to talk about the actors later, and we're going to talk about more to do with DC and anything else you guys want to send in and talk about. So Tina says, how long will it take for the next season? It will take a long time because they haven't started writing the new season yet. And obviously got to write those first at least 5 episodes. There's going to be 10 in the whole season. So they're just going to have to, go through that process. And that's going to take a while. Like writing a whole episode, that's like, I don't know, like 2 weeks maybe. So imagine, 2 weeks times 10 episodes. So yeah, it takes a while, but they can start filming once the actors strike is finished. Obviously they've come to a deal, but they haven't done that yet. When that happens, obviously, then you can start thinking, okay, maybe they're like 5 scripts down, writing wise, and maybe they can start filming. But it's a whole big process. I'm sure Andy's going to talk about that as I bring him in. Just first off, shout out to Tina. Thank you for the super chat. Thanks for doing the live. No problem. I'm glad that all of you guys were able to make it. We're going to pop in Andy right now. What's up, Andy?
Hello, how are you doing tonight?
Wow. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm actually, I finished work and I'm actually next week next week is actually my week off. So I will have a little
Going
more
on holiday?
availability. Not holiday, no, I'm just taking
No,
my my
just a week off.
PTO because I've just been working nonstop. So
No,
I feel so bad because you don't know, but he's like like for after summer he was asking me almost all the time like, you want to come on and I felt like such a douche that I could never say yes because this summer was just packed for me. So but I'm glad
no
for
problem.
once I can make it. And what a crazy summer it's been, with the strikes and with every celebrity coming. Jesus. Apparently that cat has something to say
The
too
cat
about it
has
as well.
come in the summer, yeah.
But yeah, every celebrity apparently like just being messy, and so yeah, it's been
There's a lot
insane.
that's gone on, although there's not been much news, like in general.
Yeah,
There's been bits and pieces and some very big things like the writer's strike being over, like the actors going to strike. I think people who care about video games are probably taking notice of the recent news that the actors are planning to strike to do with that. I haven't really read
mm,
into it, but um, okay, let me get your opinions, Andy, since you're
mm.
here, on the writer's strike, how it was handled by the studios, and it finally being over, and what you think. How long will it take for projects to start going with the writing?
Well, I mean, first of all, when it comes to how the studios were dealing with all that, I think that this really showed us that that again, Hollywood has always been known for being incredibly shady, but I think this was definitely a way to show that they have they're way more problematic than we realize. And
Yeah,
how they because I mean, they were people, they were executives at various studios that were like literally hoping for this to drag on long enough for people to start losing their homes and shit. So it I have no respect for these studios, and like I
yeah,
don't care for the CEO, I don't care for their needs or whatever, because they're making billions and millions of dollars every year. And so but last week was really uh exciting because we saw on Wednesday that they were starting to talk again, and then they get into the next day and the next day, and then they actually went into the weekend where it's like, oh shit, they're doing it in the weekend too. So like this probably this is a
yeah.
big
It's
deal.
more
And
serious. Yeah,
but yeah, no, I definitely am happy for the Writers Guild. So proud of all my friends in the guild who have been picketing
mm,
every day since this whole thing started, and I'm excited that they're excited for this new deal. Because I mean, as long as they're happy, I'm happy,
yeah,
because I can, as a journalist, I can read this deal and be like, I don't know, would this benefit me if I was a writer or not?
mm,
But if they're happy, then I'm happy. So
yeah,
but in terms of like how long it will take for parties to get started again, it depends on. I mean, I guess let's take Superman Lois for example,
Yeah.
because since this is kind of a theme of the show,
Mm.
because they hadn't written anything for season 4 when the strike happened,
Yeah.
it means that they have to, when they resume, they're going to resume it as like any other season, where they have to now start figuring out like what are the plans for this season. Again, they have Michael Scudlitz as Lex
Mm.
Luthor, but
Yeah.
I don't think they plan. I don't think they plan beyond that, and I'm sure there's still a lot of budget issues they're still having to figure out.
Yeah.
So it, like, yeah, I think that unless they want to do this whole thing of, well, let's write all the scripts first and then
Mhm.
and then we will just shoot it, without any breaks. Or if they're gonna just, they're gonna make a script, send it to the actors, they film it, and then they keep writing next one. So I don't know what their process is, but the fact that they're having only 10 episodes this season is, it's possible they might do it differently. Like they might, instead, while I'm sure they haven't even started writing anything as of this
Yeah.
week. I don't think that has happened at all. But I wouldn't be shocked if the actor strike ends next week. I would not be surprised if the following week in October, that's when they all get back to the writers' room. They start
Yeah.
developing stuff, and maybe they start filming towards um, November, December at that point. But yeah, as far as I know, like I don't, they haven't gone back yet. So I would say that, but for shows like, I think Stranger Things season 5 and Cobra
Yeah.
Kai season 6, I think they'd already started writing
Yeah.
before the strikes. They can just go back now because they know in their mind like how this season is going to end. But now
Yeah.
they can just resume. So
I'm just wondering, with like, say you're Todd Helbing, you're the showrunner of the show,
mhm.
and you kind of like come up with a lot of ideas. I'm guessing he's been thinking all summer long, okay,
Oh
where are
yeah.
we going to take this? So if, they all come back together, I'm talking about the writer's room. If they all come back together, they have a meeting with Todd, and he's like, okay, we want to go like in this direction. Obviously, they're still at the drawing board, like what they
Mhm.
would be at the end of the season. But I'm pretty certain he knows kind of where he roughly wants to go. But yeah, you're right.
Oh
They're gonna
yeah.
have to figure it out like properly.
Because it's one thing to, have an idea in your head of what you want to do, and then, but then also like what you can actually do when you start writing the script. Because the thing is, when you send, when you write a script, it goes to the network and it goes to the studio, and that's why there's called network notes and studio notes.
Yeah.
And that, because I'm sure this season they're going to be very picky with like, well, this is too expensive, you're going to have to
Yeah.
cut that and that and so on. And which is again why I'm very mixed about the fact it's coming back for season 4, because I don't want a watered down version of the show. And I feel like some fans just hasn't realized yet that this is going to be a very different Sumo Lois that comes back.
Yeah, it's gonna be different for
But
sure.
yeah, but you're right. I think Todd definitely has ideas, but again, it's like until you get the numbers of like, okay, Ben, hey, that's your idea. This is how much I'm giving you.
Yeah.
Do what you can with it, and that's where you're going to figure out. Oh, if I want to make a good result of this, I'm gonna have to retool this. So, which is why I'm like, they couldn't have picked Doomsday at the worst time.
Yeah,
Because like,
with budget cuts.
because I don't, he's not gonna look like that in the premiere. Like what he is in the
I know we've talked about this before, and I feel like everyone's talked about this, but with, especially now with the budget cuts, do we think season 4 is going to start with a time jump and they're just going to skip over Doomsday? That would be the most
that would be
biggest
so
cop
bad.
out. I would
Mhm.
hate it, but I wouldn't put it past the CW to tell Todd Helbing and the writers, okay, guys, it's just way too expensive. And they're like, okay, fuck, like have to, just skim past it. Like I wouldn't put it past Nexstar to be like so stingy with money, right?
I don't think they
I don't know.
would. I don't think they would do a flash forward. I think that they would definitely still want to make sure that they tell that that story in one way or the other. What it might be that is that he defeats Doomsday in the first 10 minutes,
Yeah,
and
something.
then or something like that. Again, because again, on television, there's only so much you can do, and there's only so much you can do with a massive battle sequence. Like like most superhero fights on television on broadcast, they last for at least, a good 2 or 3 minutes.
Mhm.
And since we've already, like again, the finale was kind of part one of that showdown. So I think that whatever, because what was the last thing they went to the moon, right? They went, or
Yeah,
they
they went to the
yeah.
moon.
I would not be shocked if that's where Clark kills him, gets him killed, or maybe even like I would be shocked if even like if that's where Superman dies, and that's why we don't maybe see him for a little bit because they can't get to him. Like there's no Kryptonian that can fly into space and get him. I'm sure Ben has many ideas of how Kara could show up and just get him from the moon, but I don't think Todd
Tag
Helbing
team.
likes. Yeah, exactly. I don't think Todd Helbing likes Supergirl as much as Ben does. So,
No.
so yeah, I don't know, but again, like, it would be a cop out for sure if they do.
Alternate Kara comes to the rescue. They
See, I
just
mean,
beat him up real quick. Boom, boom, boom.
see,
done.
I think it would be fun to see what Melissa's Supergirl would be like in this world. What she's been up to. Like maybe I don't know, maybe in this world she has short hair or something like that,
Yeah.
and she has a different costume. So, but
Brown hair.
No, we can't. You know that how them comic book fans get when they don't get their don't get their blonde hair. So, but I hope that they again. Todd Helbing really picked the worst time to do Doomsday.
Yeah.
And
You should have done it the season before when they were properly teasing it.
Exactly. See, here's the thing: they could have ended the season, but by episode 11 when Mannheim turned himself in. Like I think that's when the season should have just ended. But like they're like, we gotta have Lex. So I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he got a bit carried away. I don't know. I guess he just didn't know the situation. But I know people at the time, and I think you included. I don't remember exactly, but loads of people were mad that it was a cliffhanger. And I think we were especially mad because of the uncertainty of the next season.
Yeah, I think it just shows that he's a little bit irresponsible by if you didn't know that you had a season 4, why would you end the finale with a cliffhanger and a cliffhanger? Because you might if Super Lois had been canceled, or let's say it had been unrenewed, like some shows had been, and that's the last frame you have of the show. It's like it's not a good look for Todd. But again, it's like I've had my issues with Todd Helbing as a showrunner, both on The Flash and on Superman Lois. I think that again, there's the flaws really came out in this finale where I'm like, that's great that you want to do Doomsday, but you should have really have asked your studio of like, how certain are you that we're gonna come back for another season? Because if we get canceled, that's the last time, last frame. I don't know.
Yeah. So I guess we've all been thinking about this over the summer, although I feel like it's just been such a long time and it's going to be a long time. So I'm kind of, if we move on to the actors, obviously there was the report, I think yesterday, that that SAG is going to actually have a meeting finally once again with AMPTP, the studios and everything. So that's kind of good news. Like you would hope they're going to get the deal kind of similar to what the WGA got, obviously what they wanted, their needs. And yeah, I just feel like the studios at this point, like just give in, bro. Like give in, literally. Like you're doing something good by accepting these terms. You've been the villain, so just give up.
And the fact is that the fact is that the studios needs the writers and actors like to make things happen. Like
exactly, it's
as much as they've been thinking that they could really do AI shit and so on, it's just like they need writers to write stuff and they need actors to act, and that's just something AI cannot solve. And that's why I'm glad that even that that in the writers deal that there was that the whole AI situation was addressed. And it seems like based on writers that I've talked to, they seem that they think it's very good the way it's been framed out in the contract. So, but it's definitely when you look at the actors, like I think that's when it's going to get a little more complicated. Again, there's no way in hell that they're going to be done on Monday. I think that this will be something that goes into the week. It could be done by next Friday. Like, and this is me just speculating. I'm not like and that's one other thing about these strikes is that the trades have really shown that they are very complicit when it comes to
they're very one-sided.
they're very. I said this to someone else the other day that they are basically the HR department for the studios, where
basically.
because because
They just
HR.
give them priority, and then just over the years, they've just become complicit. They've just okay, we got to do for the studios, like in order for us to get content, right? So, I don't know. Yeah, that's just how it is. But I mean, I hope they somehow come to an agreement sometime very soon. I guess, like you said, next Friday it could be probably the earliest. I would say I wouldn't imagine before.
Unless they go into the weekend.
Yeah, so it could go into the weekend, it could go into next week. Like, we really don't know how serious these talks are. You would like to think it's serious, like the final WGA talks were over, those period of days. I don't remember how many days it was.
It was from Wednesday to Sunday.
Wednesday. Yeah, that's a fairly substantial amount of
Yeah.
time. So that just proved that things were serious, and we were like, okay, well, shit, like something's actually going to happen now, hopefully, and it did happen. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But for Superman and Lois, obviously, hopefully we get the writers back together. I just wasn't sure, like, if there's anything in the contracts that, or like to do with the studios, where they're like, let's hold off on the writers. But you would think they would want them back straight away to start producing content since they've signed this agreement. So
it's easier to bring back writers that are already with the show than having to hire a whole new room.
yeah,
So I mean, I'm sure there's probably some writers from Superman Lois this past season that may not come back. Maybe they moved on to a different show, or maybe they're doing movies now or something. But
yeah,
like, I think that they're probably gonna get things working in October in terms of writing. I think, but with filming, I think that's the trickier part because
yeah,
it depends on like how long is it gonna, because people in Vancouver haven't been able to build any sets because they don't know
yeah,
what the season looks like. They don't even, they don't even know like what is the
yeah,
story, what sets do we need. So I think that if I would have to guess at this point, Super Lows will probably come back next fall on the CW. I don't think it's gonna come back in the summer. I think that they're gonna start filming probably in November, December, probably done by March, April, and then do post production, and then maybe air in the fall. Because so that's what I would assume. If it's airing by summer, it's a miracle. But I hope that if anything, I hope people have learned from this year that if you're if you have a product that has a lot of visual effects, don't rush it. Just finish it and then air it, because otherwise you get She-Hulk, or you get you get the
mm,
Flash movie. You get
yeah,
like there's just a lot of things that can go wrong with that.
yeah, of course. Yeah, so I see Cal in the chat saying he thinks the Fall. Also, shout out to Cal for the 99-cent super chat. Thank you very much, Cal. And Paul also says, when is the premiere? So, if we're making a guess, I've said on the last stream that I'm guessing summer at the earliest. I guess if the actors' strike is resolved by next week and the writers get back together, and imagine the scenario where they shoot before the normal Christmas break, where they would basically go off for like 2-3 weeks. I don't know exactly how long it was, but then they come back and they bang out some episodes. I guess summer is when you would imagine. However, I understand the fall, because like fall is like a pretty good time, right? That's normally when the Arrowverse shows would begin, apart from Superman and Lois, which has always been a mid-season show. But Arrowverse shows have aired in the summer. Stargirl and Supergirl did 1 year. Forgot the circumstance, but
It was
yeah.
because they had to take over for Sumo Lois when they shut down production for COVID.
Oh yeah, that was
They
it.
did- they aired the first 5 episodes, and then they announced Supergirl's coming back to fill a couple of weeks
Yeah,
for Sumo Lois, because we don't know who had COVID, but like apparently according to the reports, it was that they had to shut down production for at least like a week or two or something. And
yeah,
and that's
and
and that's the thing. Sumo Lois, they take a little bit longer to film their
they
episodes
do
than.
take longer. Yeah. But also, I think it was Supergirl season 6 because they ended in November, so they
Yeah.
definitely started in the summer. Um, I think they had a break. I don't know. I don't remember exactly, but anyway, so it's not unreasonable to think it's going to air in the summer. What's your thoughts, Andy? Summer or autumn, the fall? Like, what's your guess?
I think fall. Like I can see September or early October, because we also have to remember there's other shows that they're gonna, they still have other shows that are coming back. All American, and they have Walker, All American Homecoming. So they're probably gonna try and like maybe either spread them out a little bit because they don't have a lot of original content anymore. So I think fall. I could maybe August. That could also
I could
possibly.
imagine August. Yeah, that's my
Um,
guess right now.
because everyone has made it sound like that it's like June or July, and I'm just like, I just don't see it happening.
Probably not.
Um, but
Yeah.
but
I think August is like a fair bet right now. If you consider all the circumstances, and I think Supergirl season 6 did restart or begin in August, so it's not like out of the blue. So yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Again, actor strike still going on, but they are going back into talks with the studios. And so for now, good news with the writers. Let's move on to the next topic. So did you see the news? I'm sure you did because you're very up to date. But DC Studios are officially being based in the UK. That's pretty
I
exciting.
when I saw it, I'm like, I'm gonna be texting Ben every time a production is there. I'm like, I want you to go there. I need you to go there. I need you to go there. Like
Yeah,
I
give me
need
the
you.
location. I'll be there.
Yeah, like, well, have you like, so how close are you to where they're gonna be building their new productions?
I mean, it's far away, but it's not in London. It's on the outskirts. It's near Watford. Have you ever heard of Watford? It's the Harry Potter studio where you could do the
Mm,
tour and everything. It's basically like, okay, so London, imagine it's like a circle, right?
mm-hmm.
Imagine. And the river goes through the middle, and it's basically northwest outside
Okay.
of London up here. And say I live in like northeast, so kind of further down, closer to the river. And so it's like even from the north, you still have to go like quite far. I reckon it would take like over like an hour and a half ish, maybe. I don't know. So it is like it's not like unreasonably far from London, but
It's definitely a
um,
ride. It's definitely a ride where like it
yeah,
would.
it's a right away. It's beyond the outskirts. But anyway, so
I'm
that's
excited. I'm excited they're gonna try more international locations. I think that it seemed like what James Gunn and Peter Safran wants to do is like whatever because when you do Gotham City, Metropolis, Central City, whatever. So, I mean, like maybe they feel like it's time to do something different.
yeah,
In terms of, I mean, we know Superman Legacy will be in Atlanta, but maybe like I don't know, maybe the new Batman movie is gonna be in London. Maybe they're gonna do the Authority in London or something. Or I'm sure it's also for tax reasons they're doing it in London.
yeah, of course.
Um, but no, I mean, I think it's cool. I think it'll be interesting to see what they're gonna do there. Like, I wonder like how far they've gone at this point. That was the surprising thing was when the strike was still going and they announced it. I'm like, y'all are gonna commit to this right now when you don't have
Yeah,
anything you can film. So, but
I guess they needed some sort of good news, I guess.
because you
But
were really excited.
yeah, I'm excited because I mean they already shoot a lot here, but I don't know. Even though you're not going to see the in studio work, from the outside, it's just kind of cool that they are filming nearby, and so basically it just encourages them to shoot on location more here rather than going back to America or going to Canada or something. Like, no offense to America or Canada, but there is a lot to offer in the different cities in the UK or
Mhm.
Europe, and it's quite a big difference when you go city, and that's why I think a lot of productions also beyond like tax breaks or whatever. That's why they're moving. But like I've seen recently, like Aquaman shot in London, mainly in the UK, and the Flash shot most of its production in the UK. The Batman did too. Like I was on the set, just like in the middle of London for the Flash. I was on the set for the Batman as well. Like I saw that whole. Do you remember at the start of the Batman where they have this press conference with the commissioner and everything after the first death?
Mhm.
I was there when they were filming that scene. So and I was there
Okay.
for the final scene of The Flash at the courtroom outside.
But
So
we don't know anymore because that was you're in the
I
cut when
was I
Sasha.
was in the shop, bro, and they CGI me out.
But wait, let me ask. So when okay, so we know when they did the George Clooney thing,
Yeah.
was there ever did you ever see them like having like some sort of random a random alternative shot where like some dude came out of a car and goes up, or was it always Keaton that you saw?
It was always Michael Keaton, and Sasha was there as Supergirl.
Mm.
So they completely reshot the whole scene with the same location, but you can clearly see it's green screen because it's not
Okay.
the same as what they shot when I was there. So actually, I'm not in it, but if it was the original version,
Mm.
basically they stuck with the same concept. And we all in the cinema watching for the first time because some of my friends were there with me when we saw them filming. We were like, "What? Like Michael Keaton's supposed to be there, you know?" And we're like, "Oh shit, it's green screen." Like you can see, like Ezra looks a bit different. Like it's shot like further on, like it's a reshoot. And you're like, "Oh, okay, I see what you've done here. Like you've green screened this whole place. You've just like replicated what you would have done before." So yeah, it's interesting.
This could be fun to see what the what kind of work they're gonna do. Again, because there's several of the DC shows. They're coming from DC Studios, so I'm looking forward to
Yeah,
seeing.
I would love them to do more shows here. Like they've only really done films here, so I would love to see them just like regularly out and about. Like we can make an England graphs account, London graphs, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, if
Um,
we just see Superman Lois on the not Superman Lois, the
Superman
Green
Legacy.
Lantern show or something,
Yeah.
any DCTV show, that would be awesome to see it on the streets. I would totally go every time. But yeah, so that's the update. I don't think there was anything much else in the last week. Nathan does point out, I wonder what Supergirl was doing at the courtroom in the original scene. She originally, in the scene, she just flew down and arrived at the same time as Michael Keaton. So I think it was just like an ending scene, like, oh, back in the normal timeline, these guys are here, and that's it. Um, but yeah, was there any other news that piqued your interest or anything you want to talk about, Andy?
I mean, there was the X-Men stuff that came out today that they're starting to look for
They're
writers
looking for
now.
a writer already for the X-Men. What do you think of that? That they're already going
Um,
for it?
d- d- I'm like, have y'all even finished Secret Wars yet? It's like y'all are like already jumping on the mutants. I mean, listen, like the X-Men, we know that they're coming, and I'm just more interested to see where they're gonna land because if they somehow work the X-Men into Phase 6 instead of because I think X-Men should be saved until Phase 7 when the multiverse saga is over. But I no, but like it was just I was laughing because I'm like, wow, they're like it's not even been a week and they're already like they're trying to just get shit rolling.
Mhm.
But it's cool, it's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting, but I don't know. You kind of
You're not a big Marvel fan,
you,
are you?
I've not been super connected to what they've been doing recently. Like I haven't watched Secret Wars or Secret Invasion. Sorry.
Mm.
I watched Ant-Man. I watched what other Marvel stuff came out recently?
Guardians
I
Free,
did not see Guardians and need to watch it. I was
Black Panther,
away during the
Black Panther
time.
2.
Yeah, Black Panther 2 was good. Um, yeah, I don't know. The recent films I think just haven't fully done it for me in a while since like I like Doctor Strange, I like The Last Spider-Man, but since then, Black Panther was probably the best so far. I don't know. I just haven't been super connected. Like I've always liked Marvel films, right? And I've like some of the TV shows, but recently, I don't know, it's just something that's uninterested me. I don't know what's the reason for that, but yeah, I just saw a report that apparently Yellow Jackets is coming back. The writers' room are regrouping on Wednesday, so very soon. So that's the first time I'm hearing of a writers' room getting back together. So that's good news, I guess. But yeah, what are you thinking of Marvel right now? And those of you guys who are watching in the chat, obviously can tell us, are you liking the MCU right now? You like where it's heading with this multiverse saga? What do you think, Andy?
It's definitely had its ups and downs for sure. I I will say I mean, again, because the best thing about the multiverse saga so far has been Spider-Man, um, and I don't think like otherwise because I haven't really felt much from Loki. I haven't, I love What If, but
Yeah,
yeah, that you can tell the MCU is a little bit all over the place right now, which is why I'm like, you know, I think I wouldn't be shocked if Marvel Studios are kind of like we just want to get the multiverse saga done at this point so we can start the next thing. But no, I'm curious. I'm curious to see how it's gonna keep going. I really love Guardians. I'm
yeah,
excited for the Marvels and this November. Um, but yeah, there's that you can definitely feel that something is missing with the MCU. Like something like there's something that they've lost a little bit of their magic.
yeah. I think there is, yeah, a little bit of magic that's been missing. I don't know. Like I like what DC has been doing recently. I love Blue Beetle.
Love Blue
I know
Beetle.
you love Blue Beetle too. Big fan of it. I mean, what did Blue Beetle end up doing? Like I haven't actually checked the box office. I'm just
I
gonna.
mean, it made back its budget definitely.
Well, that's good enough, right?
It's
I
good
know
enough.
it didn't smash expectations or anything like that, but I see it made 125 million worldwide, 70 million domestically in America and Canada. And what was its budget?
104 million.
Okay, so just about maybe broke even. It's still under Shazam Fury of the Gods. It's, I mean, it's not what you want a DC film to do, but it's a good film. It was, I don't know, coming out at a really kind of tumultuous time, turbulent time in Hollywood. I think you
Um,
have to be a special film to do really good in this time, and Barbie and Oppenheimer smashed it. Big up to those films. I love both of them. But yeah, shame for Blue Beetle. Like at least it made its money back. I love the film. You guys should go watch it. I believe it's actually out on digital now, at least in the
mhm.
UK. I'm not sure about the rest of Europe, America, and everything, but yeah, it's a great film. Go support it.
And we know Blue Beetle will be back. Even if he doesn't get a sequel, we know Blue Beetle will be
I
back.
loved that post-credit scene, by the way. I was
Me
so
too.
excited when that happened. I was like, oh yeah. I want more. I want more of this. And I got to meet the director. Don't know if I told you about that. I
No,
was
I
so
saw it. I was super
you saw it.
jealous.
He was so nice. Like he was talking to us for ages. Like, and it was like 2 days in a row that we met him, and he was so cool. Like he kept on talking to us. He was like super friendly. He gave everyone hugs and everything. He was like super nice, and he's so into the character, and he reads a lot of comics and he knows everything about Blue Beetle. So he even asked us, he was like, guys, if there was another Blue Beetle film, if we do a sequel, what interests you guys? And everyone was like, the Reach, the Reach, the Reach. And he was like, oh, that's cool. Like he knew all about it. And obviously he's a big Young Justice fan as well, he told us. So, he's kind of watched Blue Beetle, he's read Blue Beetle and everything like that. So yeah, he's just an awesome guy. That's Manuel. How do you say his full
Anuel,
name?
Anuel,
Manuel
Anuel, Anuel, Manuel Soto.
Angel. I don't know.
Angel.
Angel, I guess. I'm sorry, my pronunciation's really bad. Manuel Soto. Yeah, he's awesome. He's from Puerto Rico. I know that he had a career before, and he made like Charm City Kings, and people really like that, and some other projects. So yeah, it was just exciting to talk to him and see what it was like to make that jump to Blue Beetle. We were asking him all about that, and yeah, it was his first time in London, so he was also excited to be here. So, you know, um, I guess he's going to come back if we're going to be shooting more DC films here. So that'll be exciting. Yeah. Okay. We've got Tina who sends in another super chat. Thank you very much, Tina. Tina says, "What direction do you think DC should take with the films? And also, who would be a good director for a DC film?" Andy. what direction do you think James Gunn should take the DCU? If
It
you're
needs
guiding or not wise,
if
yeah.
I'm guiding. Okay. Um, the polite way I would say is, um, the direction they need is consistency. Like again, like if you have a plan, stick to it. You know, if a movie doesn't perform as well as you hoped, don't go and change everything else right afterwards. You know, like again, like because that's the thing. Let's go back to the MCU for a second with Phase One. You know, those movies didn't make a lot of money in the beginning, but
Mm,
they stuck to their gun when they built when they did the whole build up to Avengers, and that's why it became such a big success. And that's the thing, like stick to what you have planned. And again, because not everything needs to be $1 billion, in the box office. You know, again, like I'm like again, because people have been talking about like how well does Superman Legacy have to do, and so and again, I don't think Superman Legacy is even going to get 800, but like if you make like $600-700 million, that's still a good hit. And I'm like, again, just stick to your plan. Don't fumble.
yeah,
And and that's the thing. Like, that's why I'm glad that there's DC Studios now, because now it's an actual studio where because we know that when the DCU was a thing, all these executives kept interfering and wanting we need to change it, we need to do this and do this and do this. But now like James Gunn and Peter Simon, like they clearly have a plan that they believe in. We will see if it's a good plan or not, but they just need to stick to like don't change anything just because you don't get the numbers that you were hoping for.
yeah. I think you're completely right. Like they just got to stick to what they're doing. And in my opinion, how would I take the DCU? I'm not sure. Like I think they got to stick with what they've planned initially, and then see how it does, see how it performs. They have to make alterations when if they see something's not working, not connecting to the audience. And then you got to think, okay, what characters are interesting? Like Andy, what characters would you like to see get their own films? Like I'm super excited Supergirl is getting a film. I'm happy
That's not,
there's a Green
no
Lantern show.
no one is surprised that you're
No
excited that
one is
Supergirl's
surprised
getting a
by
movie.
that, no. But like what characters would interest you? Like would you like to see a Green Arrow film in the future? Like what is something?
I mean, I am ready for Charlie Hunnam to pick up the call and do a Green Arrow movie, and or a show.
Yeah, I
I
would
would
be down.
yeah, like I would love an actual Green Arrow show. And people, you can read into that what you will. I, I would definitely want Justice League Dark to be somewhere, because I think the one thing I love about DC is I love the magical side
Yeah.
of the DC universe, and I think that's something we need to see happen more in TV and film. So if Justice League Dark happened, that would be awesome. Trying to think what else. Other characters.
I would definitely like to see like Constantine, more of him, more of like Zatanna would be cool to see in live action. I mean, we've seen Dr. Fate in Black Adam. It would be cool to see Pierce Brosnan come back again, maybe in a Justice League Dark film. Again, we don't. It's very uncertain as to like what past actors or what past like
Yeah, that is the
characters
most
go
that.
forward. Like it's very confusing. Like I saw reports the other day that James Gunn wants to keep Vigilante from Peacemaker, and I feel like I loved him in Peacemaker. He was super funny,
I
but he
agree.
is being so selective about who he's keeping. He's keeping only his own characters, right?
And Blue Beat
Plus Blue
and
Beetle.
Blue yeah.
That's it. I feel like I'm sorry. Like I know it's your film. I know you're in charge and you're allowed to do this, but come on, like
It is
it's
favoritism.
favoritism. It's like I don't know what's a good comparison. I don't know. Anyway, I can't think of anything.
That's because we haven't seen this, and Marvel hasn't done something like this. Um because again, like when it comes to the MCU, like everything is canon in the MCU, but
Yeah,
again, like they have just some characters have come back. Like for example, Daredevil has come back, Kingpin has come back, but like for example, they haven't brought back Iron Fist or Luke Cage or Jessica Jones yet, for example. But like everything is still in that same universe, so they don't. But that's the thing, that they at least they pick what it already exists there,
Yeah.
but they stick with the one continuity, because the problem with the DC universe is that because this is a new Earth, this is a new continuity,
Mhm.
but for some reason, like I loved Peacemaker season 1.
Yeah.
I don't think that show needs a season 2 necessarily, especially like by the time Peacemaker season 2 even happens, it will be like, when did let me see.
Did it come out 2020? I swear it was like
Ben, yes, Ben did yawn. Um,
I did.
Peacemaker ended its first season on February 17th, 2022. So we know that Superman Legacy is going to take up all of James' time right now.
Yeah.
So at this point, if let's say Peacemaker season 2 happens in 2026, that is bad. That
Yeah.
is really bad.
That's really ages. Like,
Yeah,
forever.
because at that point, I think the hype will have died down, and at that
He'll
point,
just be
like
making it because he likes the project.
at that point, like if I would do anything, I would scrap Peacemaker season 2 and then maybe work some of those characters into Waller. I think that worked, and I think that's the thing. Viola Davis, I think that because they didn't do much with Amanda Waller in the DCU, I think that's why like I'm more okay with her coming back, as
Mm.
opposed to. I mean, I love all the Peacemaker characters. Like I love John Economist. I love Amelia Hart. I love Vigilante, even though he's
Mm.
nothing like Vigilante in the comic. He was fucking
But
hilarious.
he's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're right.
but I would rather have them be back in a Waller TV show and just say that this is their doppelganger. This is not the
Yeah.
same version that you saw in the DCU,
I agree.
because Nathan is right. They did more with Waller in Arrow. And I think she is. I mean, I think that version of Amanda Waller is the worst one we've ever had in live action. But he is right. They did more with her on Arrow than they did with Viola Davis in the movies.
It's true.
So again, when it comes to like, and this kind of goes back to one of the other questions we had before, is I feel Blue Beetle was such a like that movie can be the DC universe, because there are no visual references. They mentioned Batman and Superman and the Flash, but we don't see any of it. So again, we have no preconceived idea of what they're supposed to be,
Yeah.
and again, I think that's why, like, just go off of Blue Beetle as like kind of your chapter 0 in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And that's why when James Gunn keeps saying nothing is canon until Creature Commandos, but we are bringing back
We're
Zolo,
bringing back all
James.
these extra people. Yeah.
So I'm just like, but
So what's going on? Like, why being so selective? Yeah, I don't
in
know.
terms of a director, I want to see director DC movie. I would love. This is a guy, just like this British filmmaker. His name is Ben Rolfe. I think he'd be really interesting. See, that's the thing. Like, because what if because you're a DOP right now. So what if one of the first things you do is being a DOP for one of those movies?
Imagine. Wow, that would be amazing. I'm down, guys. James Gunn,
You're already in England.
I'm here. I'm ready. I'll live in
You can
the
commute.
studio.
You don't
I'm
want to live
here.
in. You don't want to live in a studio, Ben. You're
No. I'll move nearby.
Hmm.
I'll travel in every day. It's okay. I'll do it for whatever. No, I don't know about like directing. Like, who would I pick? Do you have any good picks apart from me, of course, and
Of
apart from
course,
you as
of
well?
course, for you. Oh my God, what's his name? Talk for a bit. Let me just
I'm just
remind myself.
typing up. Who would I think? There's some great filmmakers, but I don't see half of them making DCU projects. I could see some making sort of like Matt Reeves, Todd,
I mean, Guy
kind of
Ritchie for Green
Joker.
Arrow. Guy Ritchie for Green Arrow would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, but he would go heavy on CGI. This guy, I worked with him on
Not
2
on,
films.
but on Green Arrow.
Yeah, bro. He loves CGI. Have you seen his what's the film he made with Charlie Hunnam?
King Arthur.
King Arthur. That was so CGI. That was heavy. I know
Mm.
someone who did the production design for that, and apparently like all of it was like CGI'd over. I don't know. Yeah, he would be interesting. There's already a connection between the two of them, so that makes sense. Maybe it would be cool to see like Ryan Coogler do a DC film. I
Yeah,
know
I think
he
yeah, I
hasn't.
think once I think once he's done with the Black
Not,
Panther,
yeah,
and
maybe
I
he could
think
come over.
I would. I'm trying to think who. I mean, I kind of still would want to see if this is again because I know people have they have such divided opinions about it, but like if Zack Snyder came back to the world DC, I would love to see what he would do with something different in the, like the Euphoria. I think that would be a wonderful fit for him.
Yeah,
Um, and but
yeah.
yeah, directors,
Oh, Edgar Wright, Our Watch says that would be good. I would be very
yes,
interested to see an Edgar Wright DC film. He's also very much into pop culture, comics. He loves that shit, you know. So I think he would totally be like a really good choice.
Ava DuVernay. I would love for her to get to do something with DC again because I think she got burned twice.
Yes, it
First with
didn't
New
work.
Gods, and then Naomi. So I'm hoping that but you know what? In general, I would love to see filmmakers we've never heard of. Like let's
Yeah,
try and bring in some new voices into Hollywood. Yeah, man, there you go. He's cheap. He lives in London. He already lives in
yeah.
England. So
I
like,
live here. Come on.
and he's young. So that's the thing. Like they're gonna be like, we're gonna pay you. We're not gonna pay you too much, but we will pay you. But yeah, I mean, let's try and again, I don't think we need a bunch of major established filmmakers. I think that it's a good, like I would love to see people who have done TV shows, for example.
Yeah,
That's what happened with the Russo brothers. They literally were known for Community, a comedy show on NBC, and they went
yeah.
on to direct the biggest superhero movies of all time. And I think it would be great if they got brought like new voices like that. I mean, heck, I mean, it would be even fun to see what the Russo brothers would do with a DC movie. Um,
Yeah. Jamie says Tim Burton for a Swamp Thing film. Obviously, he's very much a veteran, so
and we
that
already
would
had
be
James
cool to see him
Mangold.
return. James Mangold as well. Yeah, I
And he's
guess.
already, yes, James Mangold is doing Swamp Thing
Oh
already.
yeah, he
So
is. Sorry, yeah, I remember. So probably no for Tim Burton on that, but maybe another project. I think Ryan Johnson would be pretty cool. I love what
ooh,
he's been doing recently. Um,
Gareth Edwards.
Gareth Edwards would be very cool to see what he would do. Yeah, there's many directors that you could name, but you're right. I think some up and coming ones would be cool. That's why I think Blue Beetle is interesting because it's coming from someone who's just developing a career and is doing very well with it, and he's got his own story that he can bring to Blue Beetle, and maybe we can find some other young or new directors who are still up and coming who can bring whatever they have to
Love to see Eric Wallace direct a DC movie.
Eric Wallace directing a Nora
maybe he would.
Allen film, Iris West film.
You know what? I would take an Iris West film at this point. No, but like, I mean, who knows? Maybe he would actually be good at directing a film as opposed to like maybe that's his directing
I'd
is
be
more of his.
interested. I
Um,
I have been saying this, but I would love and I would kill to have some sort of like Arrowverse reunion film. Like one special crossover in like 5 years' time where everyone
mm,
reunites and Eric Wallace directs it. That would
oh,
be I would kill for that day where you see everyone returning like 5 years. Oh, that would be insane. Like I really feel like we got let down with the ways the crossovers kind of ended. I feel like we
but
need
it's not their.
one.
But it's not their fault. It's the
It's not their
pandemic's
fault,
fault.
but I'm saying like wouldn't it be cool to have like one final massive crossover? That would be my dream, but I know it's very unlikely. But yeah, shout out to Our Watch for that super chat and a
I
gift.
would. Yeah, I'd go right. I would love to see him do a DC.
Yeah. Okay, so that pretty much does it for this live stream, guys. Thank you guys for all tuning in throughout, and thanks to Andy for joining us. I'm sure you'll come back on sometime
Oh,
soon. I
of
am
course.
doing live streams weekly now, so yeah, gonna be busy. Obviously, not too much content that we can release right now because, you know, actually, wait. Superman Lois writers might go back soon. The actors, hopefully they resolve the strike. Maybe we start to get more and more to talk about. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks to Andy for joining. Go check out Andy. Links in the description below to all of his stuff. Also, one final question. What are you doing with the Flash podcast? Are you continuing it, or is that it? What's your plans, by the
Well,
way?
I mean, we just released an episode yesterday.
Yeah.
We record. It was the first time me and the girls got together since the series finale. I've recorded a few episodes with other people on the
Yeah.
Flash podcast, but Flash podcast, yeah, like, we're not ending yet, because it is like, it's. I mean, it's been my passion project for the last 10 years of my life. I mean, it
Yeah.
literally. I started when I was 20, and like, I'm turning 30 next week, and again, like,
Happy
so
birthday
this
for next week.
yeah, I'm almost dead. So but no, but the Flash, I could never end it. So again, like, it will probably still be called the Flash Podcast, but we are going to be talking about a lot of different things. Again, there
Yeah,
will be DC stuff, there will be other movies and TV shows we want to talk about that aren't just DC. But no, we're definitely not ending it. I will definitely admit that I'm definitely not podcasting as much as I did before.
yeah,
And I'm definitely taking, DC podcast is definitely, because now DC podcast is part of Multiverse of Colors, so
yeah.
it's all kind of like one and the same thing. But we're not going away. So people can still find on theflashburger.com and all over social media. We still have, you can go watch all of our old interviews that we did. There could be future interviews at some point, we will see. But yeah, we're definitely not ending. A lot of people have been
You gotta
asking me.
press Eric Wallace. Oh,
I
you know a good idea? A post-Flash interview with Eric. Just like, now it's been
let,
a
let,
while.
let him just enjoy himself. Like,
Come
it's not
back to
even.
him in 6 months. Get some answers. What would you have liked to done, Eric?
He said that so many times in an interview. I'm like, why are you saying 6 months? This is a short season. Why are you saying 6 months? This season will be over in 3 months.
Yeah.
So he's a goofball, but and he was a strike captain, so he's been busy
Yeah, I
for the
know.
last couple of months. Flash Bucket. Thank you for asking. The Flash Bucket is definitely not ending, but it's right now, like, a lot of my priorities is on Screen Rant, on Multiverse of Color. I'm streaming a lot on Twitch now again, so it's But yeah, the Flash Bucket is the Flash Bucket will be with me until I just don't give a shit anymore, which is probably never gonna happen, because this was the thing that really kicked open my career in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, yes, like, even though I want to be known for other things than just the Flash, I'm honored that in the Flash fandom, like, I will be one of the people that people always look to, because, and I appreciate that. So
yeah, it's very cool. Okay, so that pretty much does it. Yeah, like I said, go check out Andy. I will link everything after we end the stream. But yeah, for now, thank you guys for watching, and see you guys soon for a new video, but also streaming next week. So yeah, that does it. See you guys later. Goodbye.